is Sunday, September the 1st, 2013, looking north up Highway 2 into St. Louis, Saskatchewan. Now I apologize for the camera work in this video. The little Sony is about to go back to the factory for repairs. It just does not zoom smoothly anymore. And the rodeo grounds on the south end of town, ooh, that hurts. And bienvenue, indeed. This is the famous St. Louis Bridge that the Grand Trunk Pacific completed over the South Saskatchewan River in April of 1915. The final link in its line from Yonge on its main line to Prince Albert. 111.7 miles in total. South Saskatchewan River, of course, is a glacial drainage channel, a spillway. And here's a view of the cantilevers that were added in March of 1928, carry Highway 2 north to Prince Albert. And looking west along Riverside Drive, also Saskatchewan 782. And the sign tells you that the ferry at Saint Laurent closes at midnight. The bridge there is the railway bridge that hasn't been used as such since Canadian National abandoned the railway from Louis to Prince Albert in 1983. Settlement in this area started in the early 1880s when J.B. Boucher led a group of Métis exiles from St. Boniface, Manitoba to settle in this area. The nucleus of their settlement was on the other side of the river, just upstream from here. And it was near here, the site of the modern village, that Norman Mackenzie began operating a ferry in 1887 to carry the Humboldt, PA branch of the Saskatchewan Trail across the river. And there you saw an old Red River cart, a reminder of those days. The first post office was established out of the colony by the homesteading missionary Reverend Eugene Lecoq on February the 1st, 1888. The name was changed to St. Louis on May 1st, 1897. Village was not incorporated till May 19th, 1959, although it had been organized as a hamlet in 1956. And one of the main benefits of incorporation was that it's able to borrow money to install waterworks, sewerage, stuff like that. And the ball diamonds, and it looks like they take it seriously here in St. Louis. Now, the original Boucher settlement would have survived just fine, except that the Grand Trunk Pacific decided to bridge the South Saskatchewan River here on property owned by Louis Schmidt, and brought their rails here in 1914, raising a freight passenger shelter in that year at mile 86.4 from Yonge on what is now Canadian National's main line. The freight passenger shelter was sold off in 1982. Ooh, sorry about that. It's all or nothing with the zoom on the little camera today. There's also a bowling alley and a senior center somewhere in town. And another view of the school, which has been extensively modified since the core was built in 1952. Looks like a new gymnasium. And a view from the north. Population of St. Louis up to 449 in 2011. Oh, the town shops. Population was 431 in 2006. And this church was built in 1954 to replace a 1906 building. And Emmanuel Anglican was built in 1977 to replace a 1931 building. Here we are to the west of town, families that J.B. Boucher led out are remembered as the Boyers, Remers, Gingras, Caron, Trottier, Grujon, Trouillard, Thoisnier, Châtelain, Joubert, Richard, some of which are buried here. Here we are on the north side of the river looking across. The ferry, of course, went out of service in 1928 when the cantilevers were added. Prince Albert is 33 kilometers to the north, behind us. The old mission, which is to the west, off to the right, had a school administered by clergy from France, assisted by the Oblates from Prince Albert. There was a sawmill, and after the Daughters of Providence arrived from France in 1897, there was a convent with a boarding school. Latache is not very far away, and the settlement suffered reprisals after Riel's resistance of 1885 failed. I want to mention that the Canada West Grain Company built an elevator in 1918 in St. Louis, followed by the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool in 1929, and both were closed by the Wheat Pool by 1985 in St. Louis, Saskatchewan. Either too wide for the roadway or heavier than 34.5 tons. Better knock it off. Looks like a load of trusses bound for Prince Albert or all points north. And here's another view of the trestle bridge that brought the rails up to the main bridge across the creek. The elevators were off to the south there. And here's some of the highlights of St. Louis. And here comes the road patrol. Now what's going to happen? Is amazed that they got it on there. The old bridge carries another load. Slated for replacement in 2015 or 2016 as the realignment of the number 2 highway. See another bridge thrown across the river a couple of miles downstream. I wonder if they'll keep the old veteran. Probably not. Now, what video about St. Louis, Saskatchewan would be complete without mention of the phantom train? On rare nights, when the atmospheric conditions and the astrological elements align, a light appears on the old Grand Trunk Pacific grade bed south of the village. Some dismiss it as ball lightning or marsh gas, though the nearest sizable slough is miles away, south out towards Bellevue. Might be a car on the highway, old Marcel driving her one-eyed Ford home from Hoey. However, sometimes some people feel the hairs in the back of the neck stand up and sense the awesome weight of locomotive and train passing by in the darkness, headed out onto the big bridge with 25 miles to go to the end of the line at Prince Albert.